Okay, I think we are live. Hello, world. I'm Chris Bytini, aka Mr. FLIXTER, and tonight I got my spoiler-free review of Frankenstein 2025. And then I'm going to talk about my top 5 favorite Frankenstein flicks. But first, I got some birthdays I want to talk about and the weekend box office update. So let's start the show, shall we? Live from Niagara Falls, it's Mr. FLIXTER Show on Saturday night. Channel. Thank you for clicking on my video. Hello, world. I'm Chris Mytony, aka Mr. FLIXTER. Mr. FLIXTER. Okay, I'm back. All right, so first things first, I got some birthdays that I want to talk about. Oh, fix my shirt a little bit. Okay. So let's go to IMDb and I'll share the screen right here. Put myself in the corner. There we go. Okay, IMDb. The first birthday I want to talk about is Danny DeVito. I just love birthdays, and I think it's great that we honor them, and everybody deserves to celebrate their birthday. My birthday was recently. It was November 9th. During my last live stream, actually. So anyways, here's Danny DeVito. He was born November 17th, 1944, in Neptune Township, New Jersey. He turns 81. So let's take a look at his body of work. Scroll down. Here we go. Up a little bit. There we go. Let's just simplify. Let's just look at his acting roles. Of course, he's known for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He was in 169 episodes of that, and it's still going too, I think. I didn't know he was in Rick and Morty. That's cool. Yeah, he plays Herb on The Simpsons for 4 episodes. He played the janitor in the new Beetlejuice. That's right. I didn't know he was in Migration. That's cool. I wasn't a big fan of that movie, though. What else? He's in the new Haunted Mansion that came out a couple of years ago. I like that one. That was pretty good. He's pretty funny in that one, too. Let's see. What else? He's been in so much. He was in Jumanji, The Next Level. That's right, the sequel. And he was in the Dumbo remake. Let's see, what else? What else stands out? Oh, that's right, he was the Lorax. Uh-oh, I hit something. Oops, go back. Oh, no. What is this? Go ahead. Okay. The Lorax was 2012. Let's see, what else? He was in Deck the Halls. I like that one. That one's pretty funny. From 2006. That's also got Matthew Broderick. He was in Be Cool. That's right, in 2005. That movie's hilarious. Well, that's right. He was in an episode of Friends as Roy the stripper in 2004. And then Big Fish in 2003. Duplex was 2003. That's the Ben Stiller movie. He was a cameo in Goldmember in 2002. What's the worst that could happen? That's pretty funny. That's got Martin Lawrence. That was 2001. Throw Mama from the Train. That wasn't 2001, though. That was earlier. I'll get to that one. Drowning Mona, 2000. The Big Kahuna, 1999. Uh-oh. I did it again. Sorry about that, y'all. Hold on. Ugh. John? Come on. There we go. Okay. He was in Man on the Moon in 1999. The Virgin Suicides was also 1999. 1999 was a hell of a year for movies, though. Well, that's right. He was Phil in Hercules in 1997. And he was in Men in Black in 1996. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, 97. He was an alien on TV Monitor. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's cool. LA Confidential, 1997. Mars Attacks is awesome. 1996. Space Jam, that's right. 1996. He was the villain in that one. And then Matilda. I think he directed that one too, but that was 96 as well. That's another classic. I love Matilda. Get Shorty, 1995. Be Cool is actually a sequel to that one, I think. And then Junior was 1994. I like that one. That's when Arnold Schwarzenegger gets pregnant. What else is here? Oh, yeah, Last Action Hero, 1993. He was the cat, Whiskers. Batman Returns, The Penguin, of course. That's my favorite Batman movie, by the way. War of the Roses was 1989. That's a good one. Twins, 1988. Jewel of the Nile was 85. Wow. Let's see. Wait, did I skip ahead? No. Oh, there it is. Throw them off in the train. I said to get back to that one. 87. That's when it came out. Okay. Cool. Found it. There's Terms of Endearment, 83. Let's see what else stands out. Oh, he was in an episode of Starsky and Hutch in 77. That's cool. He was in Car Wash from 76. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from 1975. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay. And his first thing was Dreams of a Glass from 1970. That's cool. I think I missed one. Yeah, there it is. Heist. I just thought of that one. 2001. That's a good one too. I didn't want to. Oh, and Death to Smoochie. That's right. Oh my God, I missed that one too. 2002. Okay, cool. All right, good. I think I covered them all now. Happy birthday, Danny DeVito. Let's get his picture up again. Here we go. It looks like he's got a new movie with Harrison Ford. I didn't know about this. Where is it? There it is. That must be his latest movie. What does it say here? Second Case of Christmas. What is this? Oh, that's not Harrison Ford. Never mind. Never mind. False alarm. Okay. The next birthday is Goldie Hawn. There she is. Let's get her picture going. Go away. I'm not sponsored. Okay, I want to make sure I'm still streaming first before I go to the next one. Oh, and I have a comment. What's going on here? Gory. Hey, Gory's here. Hi, Gory. How you doing? I guess I don't have to type that in the comments. Nice to see that you're watching. Thank you for joining. I'm just going over a few birthdays before I get to the Frankenstein stuff. What's your favorite Frankenstein movie? Leave comments below and we can talk about it. Let's go back to Goldie Hawn. Here's your picture. Goldie Hawn was born November 21st, 1945, in Washington, D.C. It's her 80th birthday. I can't believe she's 80. That's amazing. She's still acting too, I think. Let's just take a look at her roles. She has 37 acting credits. I thought she would have more, but yeah. I thought she'd have like double that, but hey. Oh, too fast. Okay, so she was in the Christmas Chronicles. Those movies are okay. She plays Mrs. Claus in those from 2018 and 2020. And then Snatched, I haven't seen that one, but that had Amy Schumer from 2017. There was The Banger Sisters from 2002. That one's pretty good. The Out-of-Towners, that one's really funny, from 1999. There's The First Wives Club from 1996. Death Becomes Her is a classic from 1992. Let's see, what else is there? Overboard's one of my personal favorites from 87. I can't believe they remade that one recently, but they flipped it so that the guy lost his memory, but I didn't watch it. I hear it's not that great anyways. Let's see. Private Benjamin was pretty good from 1980. What else stands out? Shampoo was 1975. Sugarland Express was 74. What else is there? Oh, okay. Her first TV show was Good Morning World in 1967 to 1968. She was in 20 episodes. Wow. Her first movie, it looks like, was the only genuine original family band. Sure. From 1968. Awesome. Happy birthday, Goldie Hawn. She truly is a living legend. And hopefully she has more movies coming out. And then one more birthday. Leonardo DiCaprio. If I can spell. Yeah, there we go. I got it. I'm just going to call him Leo. Where's this picture? There we go. He was born November 11th, 1974, in Los Angeles. He was born in 1974. So he's 51. Sorry, my math is very slow. I'm no good at math.
His birthday is the same day as my dad. November 11th, 1974.
Go away. I'm not sponsored. So let's take his body of work. Of course, he was in Titanic. Oh, wait, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Oh, I did it again. Actor. There we go. Cool. Let's see what else he was in. He's got 53 acting credits. He's got a lot of upcoming stuff. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to cover that stuff. Okay.
He's got more than Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. His most recent movie was One Battle After Another from this year. I haven't seen it yet. And then last year was Killers of the Flower Moon. I haven't seen that either. No, that wasn't last year. That was 2023. My bad. And then Don't Look Up. That one's hilarious. That's a Netflix movie from 2021. I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from 2019. The Reverend was pretty good too from 2015. Wolf of Wall Street's amazing from 2013. That's a Scorsese picture. The Great Gatsby was okay, also 2013. Django Unchained is amazing. J. Edgar, I haven't seen. Inception's cool from 2010. I like that one. Shutter Island's really good too from 2010. He's been busy. Wow. Revolutionary Road was 2008. Body of Lies was also 2008. Blood Diamond was good, 2006. The Departed was really good, 2006. I think that's another Scorsese picture. The Aviator, that's a good one. I think that's also Scorsese. Hold on. Let me just check that.
Goldie Hawn's last one was 2020.
Yeah.
But she is still active.
Christmas
Chronicles.
Okay. Yeah, that is Scorsese. Cool. I thought so. I like The Aviator. Go away. Not sponsored. Go away. Okay. Catch Me If You Can is really good. 2002. That's a Spielberg picture. Gangs in New York. 2002. I think that's also Scorsese. Let's see. The Beach. 2000. That one's an underrated movie. No one really talks about that one. Man in the Iron Mask was really good. 1998. I remember seeing that one in theaters. There's the big one. Titanic. Jack Dawson. 1997. Can you believe it? And then Romeo and Juliet was 1996. My sister was obsessed with that movie when it came out. I think that was my introduction to Leonardo DiCaprio, actually. Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, my sister loved that. And then The Basketball Diaries, that's a good one too. 1995. But I didn't see that one until later. I saw Romeo first. Oh, he was in 23 episodes of Growing Pains. I didn't know that. From 1991 to 92. He was in Critters 3. I forgot. That's cool. 91. I haven't seen that in a long time, though. He was in Roseanne for an episode in 91. That's cool. He was in The New Lassie. Sure. Let's see. What else? Okay. So it looks like... Oh, okay. His first TV show was Romper Room from 1979. He was in an episode. But his first movie... It says video. I don't know what that means. So I guess it's one of those VHS tapes that had like corny PSAs. So I guess his first movie was actually Critters 3 in 1991. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. A lot of people start off in horror and people forget. So happy birthday, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Was that his first movie?
Movie.
Okay, I was going to say he was in Growing Pains as a kid.
Yeah.
No.
I mentioned that.
Couldn't have. What's eating Gilbert Grape? He was just a kid there too.
I didn't mention What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Hold on, what year did that come out? Hold on, my girlfriend's pointed out a discrepancy. Go away, not sponsored. So thank you, beautiful. I did.
Came out in 1993.
1993. Where is it? I didn't see that. Okay, I must correct this error. I'll go back. That is not a problem at all. Let's do it. Oh, wait. Okay, actor. Previous. I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Try again.
He worked alongside Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I can't believe I forgot. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? That's a huge discrepancy.
Do you want me to find out how old he was at that time?
What year was that? Oh, there it is. What's Eating Gilbert Grape was 1993. Arnie Grape. Okay, yeah. No, Critters 3 was before that, 1991.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He did Critters 3 before Gilbert Grape. But yeah, that is a really good movie. I can't believe I forgot that one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. All right, so happy birthday, Leo DiCaprio. Let's get your picture up here one more time. There he is. Okay. So let's go back to the show. Let's go back to me. This. And then make it bigger. Aha, here we go. Cool. Perfect. All right. So that wraps up the birthdays. Now let's get to the weekend box office update. So I'll just share the screen again. Let's see what's going on with the box office. See, this is the 22nd. So we want 14 to 16. There we go. This weekend's still going on. So let's see. We had a lot of new releases. Okay. Number 1 was Now You See Me, Now We Don't. How about that? $21 million for its opening weekend. Not bad, not bad. And second place was The Running Man with $16 million. That's the new Edgar Wright movie. That looks pretty cool. I want to see that one. Oh, excuse me. Number 3 is Predator Badlands, dropping 2 spots. It made another $12.7 million. It dropped 68.2%. Holy crap. That's huge. And it made $66 million. I saw that one recently. I'm thinking about doing an episode about that one. I'm not sure yet. So for now, I'm just going to keep my opinion to myself. And number 4 is Regretting You, dropping 2 spots. I'm not sure what that one's about. It's called Regretting You. It made $3.7 million. It dropped 44%. That's not good. But it's made $44 million so far. There's a little forest going on right now. It's at 4, it dropped 44, it made 44. The Roses, one. Oh, sorry. Regretting You. I mean, when a devastating accident reveals a shocking betrayal, Morgan Grant and her daughter Clara explore what's left behind as they confront family secrets, redefine love, and rediscover each other. Oh, okay. So that's what it's about. Cool. Number 5 is Black Phone 2, dropping 2 spots. It was number 3 last week. I didn't do a show last week. I was sick. I needed time to recover. I was in no shape to do a show last week. It made $2.6 million. I saw this one recently too, and I got kind of mixed feelings about it. But it's doing great. It made $74 million. Wow. It didn't even drop. Oh, it dropped 49%, so half. But it did drop 2 spots. Like all these ones dropped a lot this week. Don't see that too often. Number 6 is Keeper. That's the new horror movie from Osgood Perkins. He's on fire lately. Last year he had Longlegs, and this year he had the monkey, and now he has the Keeper. So I don't know how he makes these movies so fast, but he's just cranking them out. It made $2.5 million. And Neon, yeah, I think they do all his movies. But anyways, yeah, doing good so far for its opening weekend, I think. Number 7, hold on, I can do this. Nuremberg. Wow, that was difficult. Okay, it dropped 2 spots, and it made 2.4 million. It did okay. It's got 8.4 so far. Not bad, not bad. Number 8 is Sarah's Oil. I'm not sure what that one is about. Sarah's Oil. It made $2.2 million. It dropped 47%, so that's not very good. But it has made $8.5 million. It's an Amazon movie, it says here. It's been out for 2 weeks. I'm guessing it was low budget. Let's see. Sarah's Oil. In the early 1900s, young Sarah Rector believes the oil beneath the barren land she's allotted in Indian Territory. As greedy sharks close in, Sarah turns to family, friends, and some Texas wildcatters to maintain control of her oil-rich land, eventually becoming one of the first female African-American millionaires. That sounds fascinating. I want to see that now. And it says it's an Amazon movie, so it should be streaming soon. I'm actually really interested in that. That sounds so cool. Okay, number 9, Borgogna. This looks really good too. It made 1.6 million this week. It dropped 3 spots though. It was at number 6 last week. Ooh. 53% of a drop. Ooh, ouch. Okay. It made 15.6 million so far. And it's been out for 4 weeks. So that one doesn't seem like it's doing very well. I thought that would make more money actually. And number 10 is Chainsaw Man, dropping 3 spots with 1.5 million. Again, 54%. There's a lot of big drops this week. Wow, surprising. It's been out for 4 weeks and it's made $41.1 million. Holy crap, that's pretty good. And then rounding out the top 15, the honorable mentions. I guess Wicked got a re-release, part 1. I didn't know that. That's cool. 1.2 million. That's pretty good. It's made $474.4 million so far. I guess that's counting last year too. But still, that's amazing. And then number 12 is Die My Love. It made $890,000, dropping 65.9%. Ooh. Out for 2 weeks. It's a movie. That's just fun to say. It made $4.8 million. And number 13 was Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I think that's a concert movie. 791,000. Again, dropping 62.6%. Ouch. But it's made 22 million so far after being up for 4 weeks. And it's a Disney movie too. That's cool. Then Tron Ares, hanging in strong. Another 628,000. It's made 72 million. I kind of thought that would be higher. I don't think that one's doing very well for being out for 6 weeks. And then A Boy and His Hair On must have got a re-release because that came out last year or the year before, I think. 510,000 for the first week. Cool. All right, that's the domestic box office. Now let's look at that international. This one doesn't change as drastically. So let's just take a look. Oh, wait, what's this? No, worldwide is what I want. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this one hasn't changed all too much. We got Ninja 2 at number 1 still with 1.9 million. No, yeah, 1.9 billion. That's right. Lilo and Stitch, my apologies, was $1 billion. Minecraft, 957,000. Jurassic Park World Rebirth. I keep calling it Jurassic Park. My bad. Rebirth was 868,000 roughly. How to Train Your Dragon rounds out the top 5 with 636,000. Million. 636 million. And number 6, we have F1 hanging in strong. That did a lot better than I thought it would do, actually. I'm very surprised how well this one did. I still have to see it. That's the Formula One racing movie with Brad Pitt. It made $631.4 million. And number 7 is Superman. This is another one. I really thought that would make more. I thought that would be a billion-dollar movie. I really did. A lot of these I thought would be billion-dollar movies, like Mission Impossible, Fantastic Four. Conjuring's still in theaters, so there's still hope for that. I mean, it's almost halfway there.
I thought that about Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft I thought was going to make over $1 billion for sure, but didn't quite get there. So Superman has $616 million so far. Demon Slayer actually made the list, and it keeps climbing the list. It's at number 8 now. Holy crap. $611 million worldwide. Even more than Mission Impossible at number 9, Final Reckoning. I'd love to see that one too. That is $598 million. And there's Fantastic Four, rounding out the top 10. $521 million. Then we got 11 is Conjuring, Last Rites. $494 million. It's about halfway there. I was looking at the wrong number before. That's 4, and that's domestic. This is the total. Thunderbolts and Captain America Brave New World, still 12 and 13. 414 million, 382 million. And then Sinners is still in 14. Sinners is one I thought would do better too. It made $367 million. And rounding out the top 15 with the honorable mentions is Final Destination Bloodlines. This one's doing the best in the franchise. I know that. It's made $315 million. And look at that. Weapons is number 16 right there. 268. Good for Weapons. I like that movie. That's one of the best horror movies this year so far. Easily. All right, let's go back to me. Am I still streaming? Yeah, cool. All right. Remove. And let's do this. Here we go. Here I am. I'm back. Ta-da! Let me just get a drink, and then we'll get to the main event. Frankenstein. Yay. Get my review. Here we go. Okay. So let's go to IMDb. Let's blow up that poster, but I gotta share the screen first. Put myself in the corner. Here we go. Let's talk Frankenstein. This is one of my most anticipated movies this year. I've been talking about it all year. There it is. It's just a shame it got such a limited release in theaters. But it's streaming on Netflix now, so you can watch it. Go away. Not sponsored. Here we go. Here's the poster. There it is. It was directed by Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro. Good old GDT. It was written by Guillermo del Toro and Mary Shelley, who, of course, wrote the classic novel. It stars Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi as the creature. It was made with a budget of $120 million. And it only made $144,496 because it had such a limited release. So this is another one. This probably would have been $1 billion movie if it got a wide release. So here's the description according to IMDb. Dr. Victor Frankenstein, a brilliant but egotistical scientist, brings a creature to life in a monstrous experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creator and the tragic creation. Can you hear my cat? That would be Tox. Let's go back to me real quick. So, since I saw the Stein, can I be frank with you? Oh, wait, share the screen first. Yeah, cool. Here's the poster, which is gorgeous, by the way. But yeah, cool. I love this poster. So I read the novel a long time ago, so I had to research it just so I could brush up on it. But yeah, I did love the book when I first read it. It's always kind of stuck with me. So Frankenstein is one of those stories. It's always been around my entire life, kind of like Dracula, kind of like the Wolfman. They always just been there, just kind of known. And the Mummy too. That's another big one. I think those are the big four. So yeah, out of all of them, Wolfman probably is my favorite, but still, I love Frankenstein. I don't know what it is about the story, but I've always been drawn to it. I've always had this strange fascination with death too that I can't really explain. So I don't know. I'm just weird like that. But if I wasn't weird, I wouldn't be me. So of course, this is inspired by the classic novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, with the subtitle The Modern Prometheus. In case you're not familiar, Prometheus was from Greek mythology. He stole fire from the gods, and he was punished by Zeus. And his liver was eaten by an eagle as a punishment, and it would regenerate, and every day the eagle would come back, and eventually Heracles freed him. But that's the myth, and that's where it comes from. And the whole metaphor is that Frankenstein was the one who's playing God, so to speak. And I'll get into all the themes of stuff like that later on, but this is why Frankenstein means so much to me. This is kind of like why I relate to it, I guess you could say. So the movie starts off kind of like the book does. It starts in the North Pole, and it looks like the ship is actually a set that they built. And there's actually a documentary on Netflix that's all about the movie. It's really fascinating. I recommend that as well. Watch the movie first, and then watch the documentary. They complement each other very well. But this ship is the first of many expansive, lavish set designs. The laboratory is as elaborate as it gets. I also noticed a lot of religious imagery too. That's a Del Toro staple. You see that in all those movies. The variety of camera angles and movements keeps the film visually appealing. There's a lot of wide angle lens shots that are used, and some of the sunrises are extraordinary. Oh my god, I couldn't believe how beautiful this movie is. I can't even put into words like how gorgeous this film is. It's very theatrical though, with all the lighting and the shadows and everything. It kind of feels like you're watching a stage play, but I'm cool with that. Whereas in other versions, you actually feel like you're watching a movie. Like I'll get into those other movies too later on. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But it's very theatrical, and that's one thing I love about it. Especially this resurrection scene. I love the way that it's staged and shot with the rain, the lightning, the way it's choreographed, kind of like a dance, almost like a waltz, as well as the special effects too. The CGI is pretty impressive in this. It doesn't look fake or like rubbery or anything like that. Bad CGI sticks out like a sore thumb. And this one looks pretty good. I was spellbound. I got chills during that laboratory scene when they brought the creature to life. But he never says it's alive, though. That's disappointing. I was waiting for it. In my commercial, I put a bunch of different clips from all over the place. Okay, I'm just gonna check, make sure I'm still streaming. Yeah, I mentioned Gory. Okay, still streaming. Cool. Okay, going back to Frankenstein. Del Toro does a great job of making the creature empathetic. Just imagine that. He's probably very confused due to the anger and the hostility directed toward him from Frankenstein. And if you think about it, Frankenstein created this version of a child and then sent him to die because he didn't take the time to teach him. I cried when he was crying out Victor's name when the laboratory was burning down. I'm not going to get too spoilery, but that part's in the preview. You can see the explosion. Nothing I talk about won't be in the previews. Nothing's going to be spoiled here. Don't worry. I had to watch different previews to get clips for the commercial I put up, which is on my channel now. You can watch it. And there's a line that the creature says that really stuck with me. He says, quote, an idea, a feeling became clear to me. The hunter did not hate the wolf did not hate the sheep, but the violence felt inevitable between them. Perhaps, I thought, this was the way of the world. It would hunt you and kill you just for being who you are, end quote. That mindset couldn't be more true today. Whether literally or metaphorically, it speaks volumes about the vicious circle of life. And the cast is exceptional. Oscar Isaac in the titular role is fantastic. I love his voice, the one that he uses when he speaks. Like, oh, it's so good. Obviously, he uses the voice when he speaks, but the voice that he uses for this role is so cool. It's very Frankenstein-esque. I love the direction he took with it. Even like the mannerisms and everything. In the documentary, they say the inspiration for Frankenstein was Mick Jagger. So that was what Del Toro was yelling at him behind the camera. More Mick Jagger. And you could really see it in that laboratory scene. And the way that they depict making the creature too. I didn't mention that before, but I like how it doesn't depict it as a horrifying act. It's more like it's a beautiful artistic thing that he's doing. Like it's a triumph. But yeah, Oscar Isaac, he is fantastic. Everything from his line delivery to his eccentric mannerisms. He could be charming one moment and then bone chillingly cold the next. Watching him slip away into his insanity is as joyous as it is devastating. I think he deserves awards for his performance. Jacob Elordi, too, gives an equally powerful performance as the creature. I thought I forgot what I said. When he speaks, he's as articulate as he is eloquent, which is how the creature is in the book, too. So I love how they actually depict a more true version of that. They never really got that right before, but I'll get to that. I got 9 other movies I want to talk about. The way he uses his body language evokes the likes of Doug Jones. Like it's that good. He probably watched him and took notes or something. I don't know. When he, oh, I said that. Well, he gives this creature this childlike innocence with a glint in his eye that has that spark of curiosity within. I was moved to tears multiple times during his performance. It's so touching. It's so moving. I was very moved by this film. He should get awards too, I think. He should be nominated at least. And Mia Goth. Mia Goth is great as Elizabeth. She plays her character with effortless grace. She's a strong willed intellectual with gumption. When Elizabeth finds the creature, it feels like a scene out of The Shape of Water, but not on a romantic level like that. The Toro just brings the same sense of whimsy. It doesn't come across as romantic. It's more like a mutual curiosity, though, or an admiration of beauty with innocent eyes. Christoph Waltz plays Heinrich Harlander. He's enjoyable, as always, in the role. His snide, snarky nature is matched with his charisma, despite his character feeling pointless. Because in the book, Frankenstein has always worked off the riches of his family and his wealth. He never really had like a benefactor. So I didn't really see the point of his character. But he leaves an impact, no less. Like, I love his acting. He's great in the role. And watching the two of them spar against each other on camera, going back and forth, is so good. Watching them exchange dialogue. One of the best scenes in the movie is when they're trying to figure out how to get the experiment to work. Before they even go to the lab, when they're working on negotiations, it's so good. But like I said, he's good in everything. And David Bradley plays the blind man. He also plays Filch in Harry Potter. He teaches the creature how to read, and he introduces poetry and philosophy to him. He's got a lot of warm scenes, and I love his screen presence. It's the silver lining of the creature's bleak existence. They really do a good job depicting that. But that actually does bring me to one of my issues of the film, though. Some of the parts, I feel like they kind of rushed it when they could have slowed it down. And then sometimes they kind of slow things down when they could have kind of spent things along. Like that, for example, they kind of rushed through that part. They could have spent maybe a little bit more time. Like the second half is a lot slower than the first half, for example. Once you get to the, because it's told in two sections. First, you hear Victor Frankenstein's story, then you hear the creature's perspective. But once you get to the creature's perspective, it slows down dramatically. So there's a few things there I could have picked up on the pace on. Like there's a lot of time with the creatures alone in the forest. Maybe not to have so much time with him by himself. Then he could have had more time with the family. But still, he gives a great performance. And Charles Dance plays Baron Leopold Frankenstein, Frankenstein's dad. This marks the second time he plays Frankenstein's father in a film. But this is a much more distant, abusive, colder version than previously portrayed. But again, he's great in everything, especially Game of Thrones. I loved him in Game of Thrones. And he's really good in Last Action Hero. And then Lars Mikkelsen is Captain Anderson. He's the one that they're telling the story to. And he fantastically commands the screen. Sharing scenes with Isaac and Elordi, that says a lot too, because those are two heavyweight performances, and he holds his own there. I liked it. That's a feat not many could muster. So I thought he stood out. He deserves a shout out. I love the score by Andre Desplat. Sorry if I butchered that. It's sweeping, it's episodic, it's dramatic, it's theatrical, it's everything. I love it. It's epic. It really does suit the film very well. It adds the atmospheric tone dramatically. Tremendously, even. So, overall, out of all the Universal monsters, I probably am more of a fan of Dracula and the Wolfman, but I have always loved the Frankenstein story. It's one of those ones that's always been around, like I said. So, whenever there's a new version of it, I'm on top of it. The timeless tragic tale of reanimating the dead, regrettably playing God, and fearing/hating your creation. It's a fascinating look at the human psyche, such as the id, the ego, and the superego, existential self-discovery, failed parenthood, and the mishandling of science. Aside from being a cautionary tale, it's about the human spirit, forgiveness, understanding, and the importance of being comfortable in your own skin. Just want to make sure I'm still streaming. Still good. Cool. No new comments. Cool. Okay, going back. Del Toro masterfully does what Nosferatu failed to do, in my opinion. Tell a classic new tale in interesting new ways. This film explores the perspective of the mad scientist and the creature, divided into two chapters, told from the perspective of a Latino American view with Catholic undertones. He created a life, but he did not give him a life. I was deeply moved by this film. And I really do think it's one of the best movies of 2025. Not just the best horror movie, this is one of the best movies of the year. Frankenstein fuses Gothic style of early horror movies with contemporary technology, creating an astonishing retelling of the Mary Shelley novel. The set designs, the costumes are fabulous. The scope of the film is incredibly enormous. The gore effects are amazingly grotesque. This movie's not like super gory, but when it has the gore, it's pretty gruesome. Like during the laboratory scene, and it seems like such a fun act too. He seems like he's really enjoying himself when he's putting the creature together. It's awesome. It's an all-around masterpiece. I love this movie, but I do have issues like the pacing, like I said, and it does skip out on some things in the novel. Like it doesn't mention. Well, it mentions the companion, but it doesn't. He doesn't build the companion and then go back on it, and the creature doesn't get its revenge because of that, like in the novel. So there are some changes to it, but I get why Del Toro made those changes. He made the movie more personal for himself, and the themes that he worked with are more personal to him, like between the relationship between him and his father, for example. That's what he wanted to talk about, father-son relationships. So if you're a fan of Del Toro's work, this movie is very similar to Pan's Labyrinth, The Shape of Water, and Pinocchio. So I highly recommend this if you like those. So let's go to me. And remove. Here I am. So my visual grade for Frankenstein 2025 is an extra large popcorn. And remember, if you love the classic story, this flick will get you acting like Prometheus, all fired up. Okay, now that the review's done, let's get to this ranking. So I have a page here on Letterboxd. Let's share the screen. Here we go. Okay, go away. Not sponsored. I can't exit that one. Okay, cool. Let's go to list. Oh wait, I want to go to my list. Here. Best Frankenstein flicks. So these are just in the order of their release right now. These are the movies that we're dealing with tonight. These are the ones I included in my collage for the thumbnail. Uh-oh, don't highlight. Okay, scroll down a bit. Where's my mouse? There it is. Where's my mouse going away? There it is. What's going on? Come on. My mouse is not cooperating. Okay, there we go. So these are the ones that we're dealing with. What is going on here? My mouse is being screwy. I apologize. This is what we're dealing with. So before I get to my top 5, I'm going to talk about some honorable mentions. Okay. The first honorable mention is Frankenstein. These ones aren't really in any particular order. These are just ones I wanted to talk about because they're important. If I can get my mouse to work for me. Okay. Okay, so, okay. I'll go over here. No, go over here. Let's go to IMDb. This is from 1931. There it is. If it loads. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's get the poster. Here it is. Look at that poster. Beautiful. This was directed by James Whale. It was written by John L. Balderstone and Peggy Webling. It stars Colin Clive as Henry Frankenstein and Boris Karloff as the monster. It was made on a budget of $291,000, and it only made $10,777. It didn't do too well when it first came out. But over time, of course, it gained that cult following and the legendary status that it has today. I mean, there's hundreds of Frankenstein movies. If you go through history, I just picked out some of my favorite ones. Some of them you might not even have thought of as Frankenstein movies before. So hopefully I can kind of open up your perspective to what a Frankenstein story can be. Oh, I did that. So why this one matters is because this was the whole foundation of cinematic Frankenstein. It alters Mary Shelley's novel significantly, but the film did invent the classic Frankenstein image. This one here, whenever you think Frankenstein, most likely, if I can get my mouse to work for me, here we go. Most people think this image. Boris Karloff. You got the square head, you got the bolts in the neck, you got the stitched together face, you got the heavy eyelids, the kind of messed up eyes, you got the kind of lumbering walk. This is all because the makeup design by Jack Pierce. What it's doing thematically is it stages the story as gothic horror and more of a moral tragedy. The monster's introduction, backlit and slow, is meant to inspire awe rather than fear. Carlos' performance is filled with nuance. He does a lot of little things that you might not notice the first time you watch it. But I've been watching this movie since I was 10 years old. I just thought it was kind of a cop out to like put this at number one because everyone's going to put this at number one, but it's worth mentioning. This is one that's always been around. And that child by the lake scene isn't malicious, it's just a misunderstood act. And it really underscores the innocence of the monster because he was just trying to see if she would float too, kind of like the flowers would. So it's really sad the way it happens. But in the book, it's a little bit different. I don't really remember how it happens, but it's not like that. But yeah, as far as stylistic impact goes, everything from like the expressionist lighting to the stark sets and the minimal score make it almost feel like a dreamlike experience. Whale's theatrical background contributes to that formal precision. If you're familiar with his work, eventually he would go on to do Sound of Music as well. So that's versatility right there. So let's just take a look and see if there's any comments. Come on, mouse, work with me. Thank you. StreamYard, here we go. Here I am. Remove. Oh. Elizabeth says, great commentary. Thank you. I appreciate that. I highly recommend the new Frankenstein. What am I doing? I'm sharing my screen. There we go. And put myself in the corner. And what? As far as legacy goes, this film set the blueprint for every Frankenstein adaptation afterwards. Even those who kind of try to do their own thing and rebel against it, there's still that basic foundation. I mentioned it before when I was talking about the new Frankenstein. There's the blueprint of reanimating the dead, regrettably playing God, and fearing/hating your creation. Some of them do alter it a little bit, and I'll get into that later on. But it's all there. This also made Boris Karloff a household name. So the next honorable mention that I want to do is The Bride of Frankenstein. If you haven't seen these older movies, I highly recommend you find some way to watch them. There's a website. It's called archive.com, I think. It's a free website where you can watch old classic movies. Oh, I wrote a classic. Ha ha ha. Oops, Bride of Frankenstein. Note to self, don't talk and type. Here we go. Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. But yeah, you can watch these all online. Come on, load. Here we go. Let's get that poster. There it is. I'll just start for saying that hair is iconic. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you know that hair. Even Frankenstein. Even if you haven't seen Frankenstein's monster, you know the creature. And yes, I know the common misconception: Frankenstein is not the monster. Frankenstein is the creature. But wait, is Frankenstein the monster? Well, of course he is. But no, this is the creature. Frankenstein's the scientist. For the longest time, though, I did think that Frankenstein was the monster. Stop saying that. The creature. We all know who the real monster is. So why this one matters is it's frequently cited as one of the greatest sequels of all time, and I have to agree. I kind of prefer this one to the original, honestly. Like if I was going to choose between watching this and watching the original Frankenstein, I'd probably put on the Bride of Frankenstein. It's very enjoyable. Whale came back and he was given more freedom. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. It was directed by James Whale. It was written by William Hurlbut and John L. Balderstone. Colin Clive returns as Henry Frankenstein, and Boris Karloff is the monster. That was a major change, too. For some reason, in these movies, they switched it because it was always Victor Frankenstein in the book, and Henry was his friend. So I don't know why they did that, but they did. And Elsa Lancaster plays the bride. This was made on a budget of $397,000. And it made 14 grand. So it didn't do very well when it came out, but eventually it gained that cult classic status. So why it matters. The sequel is basically a flamboyant blend of camp, tragedy, and it's a love story. It explores the monster's longing for companionship and dignity. It also introduces Dr. Pretorius, one of cinema's all-time greatest mad scientists, playing the devil on the shoulder of Victor, whispering into his ear to do evil deeds. Even though the bride herself only appears briefly in this film for like she's only in the last like 5 minutes. Sorry, for the rest of these movies, there's going to be spoilers. But yeah, she's only in this movie for like 5 minutes. But that's how impactful her impression is on pop culture. She's become an icon of creation and rejection. It's full of ornate sets. It's a lot funnier than the original. And it has more of a Baroque energy instead of the expressionist German expressionism that the first one was going for. The first one's more like Gothic German expressionism. But this is both a critique and a celebration of the original film. It actually expands on more stuff in the novel that the movie didn't get into, like the whole companion thing. Because the Bride of Frankenstein was in the novel, but he doesn't actually build her. He goes back on his word, and that's why the creature wants revenge. And that's why the creature kills Elizabeth in the book. So if you're watching back to back, it's like a full version of the book, sort of. That's one way of looking at it, at least. But this also set the stage for how a sequel could surpass the original. So I mean, it does a lot of the same things, but it just does them better. It's more elaborate. It's more funny. Stop it. My cat's attacking the cord. Sorry. Okay. There we go. No, don't chew on it. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, my cat was attacking the cord. I had to stop her. Okay. Okay, we're good. So yeah, that is The Bride of Frankenstein. love this movie. Again, I just think it's kind of a cop-out to put this at number one. It's one of the ones I've been watching since I was 10, and it's just always been around.
Classic.
It's a classic. Okay. The next honorable mention is Edward Scissorhands. And yes, this is a Frankenstein story. There it is from 1990. That's the year my little brother was born.
I believe it's that old.
Let's get that poster up. Great poster. I remember watching this as a kid too. This was directed by Tim Burton. It was written by Tim Burton and Caroline Thompson. It stars Vincent Price as the inventor and Johnny Depp as Edward Scissorhands. It was made on a budget of $20 million, and it made $86 million at the box office at the time. This movie is fabulous. It's got this whimsicality to it. It's basically a modern-day fairy tale that distills the Frankenstein myth into a suburban melancholy. So instead of a Gothic castle, we have pastel houses and gossiping neighbors. The monster is placed in the most banal environment possible. And it's so funny. He's so out of place. This is the great fish out of water tale. It touches on themes of creation and abandonment. It's about ostracizing outsiders and the fear of somebody different than you, and the cruelty of conformity. Because Edward is crafted by this eccentric inventor. He doesn't really have a name, and he doesn't have a big role, but essentially the relationship there is the same. He made this incomplete creation, and he ends up abandoning it. And the creation gets thrust into a world defined by suspicion and desire and fear. And this movie has so much style to it. Even though it's got all these dark undertones to it, it's got this light delightfulness to it too. It's very, the only word that can usually describes it is just whimsy. But this movie's just full of whimsy. I can't really, nothing else really describes this movie more than that. Largely in part because Danny Elfman's score, it really elevates the film to this operatic, emotional territory. So those are just some of the reasons why this is one of my more beloved reinterpretations of that Frankenstein archetype, because it's delicate, he's tragic, and he's got this deeply human side and this curiosity, and he wants to learn about the world, but still, parts of the world still reject him. This movie is so sad. But yeah, I like the way they set it up too, because it's got Winona Ryder, and then she's telling the story to, I think it's her granddaughter, possibly. It's not her daughter. She's too old to be her daughter. It's got to be her granddaughter. But yeah, she's basically, it's a bedtime story. That's how they set up the movie, which kind of adds to the fairy tale-ness of it all. That might not be a word, but I'm using it. So yeah, that's Edward Scissorhands. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Just want to make sure we're still streaming. Still good. No new comments. Okay, cool. Oh, didn't share the screen. Sorry about that. I'm back. Oh, I was sharing the screen. Okay, I never stopped. Haha. Cool. Back in the corner. Back here. Okay. The next honorable mention is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. from 1994. Oh, that's a video game. Wait. That's not what I want. Oh, no. Okay. Dragon. Mary. Shelley. Frankenstein. Yeah, that's not it either. No. Where is this movie? Let's find it. Oh, there it is, Frankenstein. Wait, is that it? Video game? Oh, okay. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's it. We found it. Here's the poster. It's pretty cool looking. Very, very ominous. So this movie came out in 1994. It was directed by Kenneth Branagh. It was written by Steph Lady and Frank Darabont. It stars Kenneth Branagh as Victor Frankenstein, and Robert De Niro is the creature. It was made on a budget of $45 million, and it made $112 million at the box office at the time. So it did really well. I remember it was popular when it came out. This movie gave me nightmares when I was a kid. Why it matters is this is probably the most faithful adaptation to to capture the ideas of the novel when it comes to like the philosophical and the emotional complexity of the creature. It even indulges in this sweeping melodrama. This movie is very dramatic. It's very theatrical. But it does a really good job of adapting Victor's obsessive hubris, the creature's intelligence, eloquence, and self-loathing. It also touches on those themes of parental abandonment and the ethics of the creation of the creature. I don't really like the makeup for Robert De Niro, though. Here, I can bring it up. I put all the pictures on the collage for the thumbnail for this video. If you want to see what the creatures look like, you can look at that. Where's Robert De Niro? Let's see. Go away. Not sponsored. Helena Bonham Carter is Elizabeth in this one. She's fantastic as well. There he is. So you don't really like the makeup. It doesn't really look like the creature, so to speak. It just kind of looks like he got beat up. Or it kind of looks like he got hit by a car. Not a fan. Performance is good though. Not gonna lie, it's very touching. You wouldn't think he would be good in the role, but he is. I give credit where it's due. His performance is very raw. It's very emotional, and he's deeply articulate. He's probably the most faithful adaptation when it comes to like the creature's performance. Although Jacob Elordi is pretty good too. But this one, they don't really touch on the blind man teaching the creature very much. It kind of rushes through that part too. But hey, it's still a pretty good portrayal. It kind of calls back to Boris Karloff's performance too, with the grunting and the moaning and the way that he walks. This movie's very stylish, though. Brenna films it like a romantic era opera. It's very excessive. There's a lot of lightning and thunder. It's very dramatic. There's these long, like, monologues. There's a lot of wide shots. There's a lot of elaborate sets. Like the laboratory in this one is pretty cool. It's very steampunk in this one. It's got a lot of like mechanisms, wheels, and pulleys. For some reason, he's shirtless when he's doing it. I don't know why. I never understood why he's shirtless in that scene. There's no need for him to not have a shirt on. He just wanted to show off his body. But he really captures that ambition, that undeniable, unquenchable thirst for science, and this obsession with the dead and bringing the reanimation. So yeah, this version is flawed, but it's still a fascinating adaptation. It's very sad too, the way it depicts the Bride of Frankenstein. It's different. I like it. That's the cool thing about different iterations. They can go their own directions. Different artists can make their own mark on it. They can pull inspirations from their life on it and make the story their own. That's the true sign of a timeless tale, if you ask me. So many people can relate to it. So those are just a few reasons why I like this one. Moving on. The next honorable mention is Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Oh, I'm not typing. There we go. Angry Black Girl. There it is. This is a highly underrated film that nobody talks about, and I'm surprised because it's so good. This is a modern version of the Frankenstein tale, and it takes place in an urban setting. It's centered around like gang violence and drug use and like drug trafficking and stuff like that. And it's really cool the way they do it. That's why I'm surprised no one talks about this. It's a bold, modern reinterpretation. The story shifts to a contemporary Black community that's affected by violence. Think of Boys to the Hood meets Frankenstein. It's awesome. It's so different. It's so unique. This is what I mean by taking the tale and making it your own story. It's flexible that way. Kind of like the Frankenstein creature itself. You can stitch it together any way you want, and it can be your creation. This talks about death and the trauma that causes from it. This talks about the societal creation of monsters in our own minds. It talks about a genius being ignored and marginalized. So about how grief can warp your ambition too. These are some of the themes it touches on. The protagonist. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. Okay. This came out in 2023. It was directed by Bomani J. Story. Sorry if I butchered that. And it was written by the same person, Bomani J. Story. And the main character in this one, her name is Baccaria. She's played by Layla De Leon Hayes. I'll try that again. Layla De Leon Hayes. Okay, I got it. And the creature is played by Edom Atsu Swainsey. Sorry for what did that. I couldn't find a budget on this one, but it did have a limited release of $137,984. Okay, so why this one matters? Oh wait, I did that. I did themes. Okay, here we go. Style. This movie's so stylish. It's more gritty and grounded though. And this is more allegorical than it is theatrical. This is set in modern times. I think it is set in 2023, actually. It doesn't really say the year. I'm just going to say that it was set when it was filmed because it doesn't really say. It just takes place nowadays. But yeah, it's really sad because in this one, Vicaria's brother is a victim of gang violence, and that's what inspires her to resurrect him. There he is there in the poster. That's the creature, her brother Chris. But it's a powerful example of how Frankenstein continues to serve a flexible metaphor for more modern contemporary fears. The film isn't just about Black people in the projects or an excuse to show abusive Black people on screen. It just simply centers on a Black family in a Black community and talks about their everyday lives. And this is what they have to go through. It's not preachy or anything like that. And that's what I love about it. There's no ham-fisted Black Lives Matter like message or anything like that. It's just this is what we have to deal with. This sucks. That's the movie. Like just like Boys in the Hood does it. That's why I compared it to that movie. That's the only one I can think of that is close to this one. So those are some of the reasons why I think it's a marvelous, tragic, and terrifying version of the Frankenstein story. And it's certainly worth your time. This is streaming on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it right now if you want to. Well, finish the episode and then go watch it. Highly recommend. I'm so surprised no one's talking about that movie. It blew me away the first time I watched it. Okay, so that is it for the honorable mentions. So let's go to Letterboxd. Actually, let's see. Am I still streaming? Cool, still streaming. Awesome. All right, let's get to the top 5. So let's go here. I'm gonna edit this. Oh wait. Okay. Hold on. No, that's a great view. I thought I could edit this. How did they do that before? Oh wait, I gotta go here, and then wait, I gotta go here. Okay, profile. Profile. There we go. I want to go here. No, wait, I want to go lists. This. My computer's being slow. I apologize. This. Here we go. Okay. Edit. There we go. That's how I did that. Okay, we got there. There we go. Okay, so let's put this one down here. And then this one down too. Get the honorable mentions out of the way. Edward Scissorhands. These movies are great. I just love the other ones more. They made more of an impact on me. Or they're just more fun. Okay, Mary Shelley, and then Angry Black Girl and her monster. I didn't even talk about Vicaria's performance. Her performance is amazing. You can really feel her pain and her anger. The title delivers on both the Angry Black Girl and the monster. But she's not really depicted as a monster in the way the novel does. But that's what I mean. You can interpret it different ways. So I got those 4. Sorry, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, because there's 10 movies total. Okay, so these are the ones in the running still for the top 5. So at number 5. I'm going to put the new one, Frankenstein 2025. Where is it? Where'd it go? Oh, it's here. Okay. So yeah, that could just be there then. I don't have to move it. Cool. So you already know how I feel about this one. I love this movie. It's so good. I think it deserves a spot here. The only reason it's not higher on the list is because it's very new and there's that recency bias. So the other ones I've had more time with, and I truly do love these films more. So that's just a little bit of why that belongs in the top 5 spot. At number 4. Because I just reviewed it. I don't need to review it again. Number 4 is Young Frankenstein. So let's look at that poster. This movie is hilarious. This is the parody of the Frankenstein story, but it's also a very faithful adaptation because it gets a lot of things right. There it is, Young Frankenstein, 1974. This is another one that I grew up with. This was directed by Mel Brooks. It was written by Gene Wilder and Mel Brooks. Gene Wilder also stars as Dr. Frederick Frankenstein. Sorry, Frankenstein, as he says it in the film. And Peter Boyle plays the monster. He was the father, and everybody loves Raymond. You can see the creature there on the poster with the hat. I love his version of Living on the Ritz. It was made on a budget of $2.8 million, and it grossed $86.4 million worldwide at the time. I don't adjust for inflation. I just put the numbers as they were when they were. Okay, so why this one matters? It's because it's more than just a parody. It's a meticulous reconstruction of Wales' aesthetic in the original film. Because, fun fact, they actually used the original lab equipment from that film from the 30s in this movie. That's why they look so much like the same. It's the same. It is the same. The film lovingly mocks the tropes while paying homage to the artistry of the tale as well. What Mel Brooks does is he emphasizes the humanity and the misunderstandings of the story's core. Wilder's version of Dr. Frankenstein is both comedic and a genuinely sympathetic figure trying to break free from a cursed legacy. I love how it's shot in black and white too. The poster's in color, but the movie's in black and white, which fits the aesthetic of the original film. And it also contains period accurate camera techniques, I noticed. It's filmed like a movie shot in the 30s or the 40s. But the biggest feature from this movie is the physical comedy, as well as the sharp writing. There's a lot of quips. If you don't pay attention, you'll miss it. The jokes are like a mile a minute. This movie's hilarious. That's also came out the same year as Blazing Saddles. So shout out to Mel Brooks for putting out Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles the same year. And they're both considered like comedy legends. Classic comedies. But this is a rare comedy that preserves the emotional core of the inspiration of the book. Arguably, it is one of the more faithful adaptations. It's more accurate than the Universal one, and more accurate than most of the versions out there that were made after the 30s. So you decide. Is it more accurate? Leave comments below. We can talk about it. So if you haven't seen Young Frankenstein, I highly recommend it. Love this movie. It's great. Yeah, that's true. Gene Wilder's great in everything he does. He's so magnetic in this too. I love how he says it's alive. I put that in my commercial for this episode. It's great. So, are we still streaming? We're still streaming. Cool. Okay, so at number 4. Oh, I just did 4. Sorry. 4 was Young Frankenstein. At number 3, I have Frankenweenie. Let's get the poster. Again, this is a very different take on the story, but it still hits the central ideas and themes. Come on. It was also filmed in black and white. It's claymation. Here's the poster. I love this poster too. It's so cool. The creature in this one is Sparky. This movie isn't for everybody, though. It's all about kids that want to resurrect their dead pets. So take that as you will. You might not want to watch this movie if you're sensitive to stuff like that. I know certain people are. So if you don't like Pet Cemetery or you can't handle like pets dying in movies, this movie might not be for you. But if you can look past that stuff like I can, this movie is actually really cute, and it's a little bit homage to the classic Universal monsters. I mean, just look at that poster. It says it all. It's got the windmill there in the background. It's got little bats. It's got a full moon. It's a fun poster. This was actually inspired by a short film that Tim Burton made in 1984. It was a live-action short film. And it takes the Frankenstein story back to the fundamentals. It's about a boy reviving his beloved dog out of grief. And it's told through the lens of a child's eye. I don't know why I wrote children. Touches on themes of loss, mourning, and what lengths you'll go to restore the love that you once had. It also touches on ethical curiosity versus moral responsibility. It's also a good introduction to horror for children that are curious about it, but you're not sure if you want to show them a real horror movie yet. Because it's a love letter to classic monster movies. It's got a lot of references to like Dracula and even Godzilla and Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Mummy's in there. The Wolfman, of course, is in there. It's awesome. I love how it's stop motion too. I have a lot of appreciation for stuff like that because all the time and care it takes to make a movie like this. It took them so long to make this film. And the black and white it just adds to the aesthetic too. And this is one of Tim Burton's most personal works too. It took a long time for him to make this. It took him like 20 years to do it, but he finally did it. So yeah, I love this movie. It's really sad though. It's all about a kid that wants to bring his dog back, and then other kids want to bring their pets back, and then there's this science fair that comes along, and all these kids are trying to outdo Victor. Oh wait, I don't think I read the stuff yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, Frankenweenie, directed by Tim Burton, written by Leonard Rips, sorry, and John August and Tim Burton. It stars Charlie Tannen as Victor Frankenstein, and Frank Welker plays Sparky. It was made on a budget of $39 million, and it made $86.9 million at the box office. So it like doubled its budget almost. Actually, no, it did. That's like 40 million. So yeah, it more than doubled its budget. That's awesome. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Universal monster movies, or if you're a fan of claymation, and if you like Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline, then I highly recommend Frankenweenie. It's cute. So, are we still streaming? Yeah, cool. Okay. So, at number 2, I think we're on 2. Yeah, 3 was Frankenweenie. I'm gonna put Lisa Frankenstein. Oh, it's already there. Okay, so there's my list. Let's talk about Lisa Frankenstein. I love this movie. I've been obsessed with it ever since it came out a couple years ago. Actually, go away, I'm not sponsored. The poster's fun too. Here we go. Lisa Frankenstein came out in 2024. It was directed by Zelda Williams, who is the daughter of Robin Williams. And it was written by Diablo Cody. It stars Catherine Newton as Lisa, and Cole Sprouse plays the creature. It was made with a budget of $13 million, but it only made $9.9 million at the box office worldwide. So it didn't make its budget back. It bombed. And I'm surprised because this film's amazing. A lot of times people complain that there's no more like original movies. And even though this is an adaptation, it's still an original take on the story, kind of like Angry Black Girl did. But why this one matters is because it's a neon-drenched horror comedy, blending 80s teen aesthetics with a macabre romance. It's kind of like a rom-com. It's funny. I still laugh out loud hilarious, no matter how many times I watch it. It touches on themes of teenage loneliness, objectification, and reclamation of power. And it does a playful spin on necromancy and desire. And it kind of subverts the story too, because the resurrected corpse becomes a romantic interest rather than a tragic monster. So it takes that dynamic and it just flips it on its head. It's bright, it's retro, it's cartoonish, it's campy as hell. It's that classic goth girl meets high school boy, like the new kid in town, coming of age story. But I like how they put it on the poster. It's coming of rage story. Oh, it doesn't say it here. Okay. That's one of the taglines on the other posters. And it came out on Valentine's Day too. This would be a great date movie. It's a fresh, irreverent take showing how the Frankenstein myth can bend toward more comedic roles and romance and more pop exuberance than the old dreary gothic melancholy of the tragic tale. So it takes it and it puts a fresh spin on it. It's kind of like a makeover, so to speak. Ooh. And I like the way they do it too. Instead of the typical laboratory, because Lisa's not really all that into science or anything like that. It's not really about the science of it. There's this tanning bed, and it sets it up in the beginning that it's malfunctioning. So whoever uses it gets electrocuted, and that's how they kind of resurrect the corpse. So they stitch together different body parts, and every time he goes in there, he gets a little bit more put together. So that's another example of how it's a fresh spin on it. It takes things and does it so differently, but it's still at its core. It touches on all the same themes. There's that loneliness, that yearning for companionship. It's all there. It just puts it in this candy coated version of it. I love it. I can't get enough of this movie. So, if you haven't seen Lisa Frankenstein yet, I highly recommend this movie. That's my number 2 pick. So now that leaves only one option for number 1. Am I still streaming? Still streaming. Okay, cool. I don't want to say too much about Lisa Frankenstein because I don't want to ruin it, because there's a lot of good moments. I don't want to spoil that one for you. But my number 1 pick is Victor Frankenstein. I'll admit this is not the most faithful adaptation. It takes a lot of liberties, and it makes a huge mistake, but I'll get to that. Did you notice the mistake?
No.
Yeah, okay. Victor Frankenstein, because this movie is so much fun. I saw this in theaters when it first came out, like 9 years ago. So here's the poster. Love it. So Victor Frankenstein came out in 2015. It was directed by Paul McGeegan. Sorry if I butchered that. It was written by Max Landis and Mary Shelley wrote the book. Starring James McAvoy as Victor Frankenstein and Guillaume Delaney as the creature. So, why I like this one is because it does something very different than the other ones. It tells a story from Igor's perspective. And I know, Igor is not in the original book. And in the original Frankenstein movie, his assistant isn't Igor. His name's actually Fritz. But I like the idea of what if Igor was telling the story? Like, how would he feel? What would his perspective be? And this movie really touches on that. And Igor is played by Daniel Radcliffe right here. This was just after he finished doing the Harry Potter movies. I think it was just after The Woman in Black, too. Well, The Woman in Black as well, not The Woman in Black 2. That came out later. And that doesn't have Daniel Radcliffe. But anyways. This turns the story into more of a buddy mad scientist action movie than it is horror. But it's great. It touches on themes of creation as redemption for both Igor and Victor. It talks about Victor and Igor's relationship more too, and we even get a yes master. So that's pretty cool. And I like how it has an origin for Igor because no one ever really touched on the origin before. So again, it's a different take on it, and it goes in new directions. Even though this is a period piece like the other ones are, maybe that's why I like it too, because this is a period piece, and I love those kinds of movies. They don't make enough of those anymore. That's why I like this Frankenstein, the new Frankenstein. It's also a period piece. It doesn't necessarily have to be a period piece to be a good Frankenstein story. As you can see from my list, it's very different, very eclectic collection that I stitched together. But period pieces are cool. It touches on themes of the moral divide between scientific brilliance and ethical restraint. McAvoy plays Victor as this charismatic, unhinged visionary. And it's one of the most energetic portrayals in the story, too. Like, out of all the different movies, he's got he's so magnetic with his performance. He's so captivating when he talks. I love it. You can tell this movie was very heavily inspired by the Guy Ritchie version of Sherlock Holmes, which came out around the same time, and it had oh my god, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law were in that one. But when it comes to like the pacing and the aesthetic, and even the way that it shows like the writing on the screen, it's sort of similar. You can see the inspiration there. But although this isn't really faithful to the novel as much as the other ones are, it's still stylish and it's still highly underrated. Not many people talk about this one because it really touches on those character dynamics. I love the relationship between Igor and Victor. Although this one doesn't really touch on the relationship between Victor and the creature as much. They kind of brush by that. And they got the metaphor wrong. They call the creature Prometheus. For the metaphor to work, Victor is Prometheus because Prometheus is a titan in Greek mythology, like I was saying in the beginning of the episode. He was known for his intelligence. He was known as a benefactor for humanity, and he stole fire from the gods. So because he defied Zeus, he was punished. And it talked about the eagle and the rock, well, and the liver. So I don't know why they did that. Someone made a mistake there. Nobody corrected it. Maybe they just didn't realize. I don't know. I can't explain it. That's one big flaw from this movie. They got it wrong. The metaphor, Prometheus and the creature. That is not correct. And then it feels kind of rushed in this one too, because he just kind of regrets making the creature, and then they fight it, and then they kind of destroy the castle, and then the movie just kind of ends after that. So it doesn't really go on like the other half of the book from the creature's perspective. That's what I mean by it's not the most faithful adaptation. And Igor wasn't in the book either. But still, this movie has a lot of stuff going for it. I like the direction. I like the costume design. The sets are elaborate. The dialogue is witty. It's also got these really cool scenes whenever they're talking about their scientific theories. It shows like the writing on the screen. It shows like different body parts and how it might work, and it kind of shows their train of thought, so to speak. It's just really cool how they do it. It's hard to explain. But yeah, those are just a few reasons why I think this one is my favorite one. This was a hard list to make because I hadn't really considered which story I like more. But after watching them and rewatching, I've been watching Frankenstein movies the last 2 weeks to prep for this episode. And at the end of the day, I gotta go with this one. I really enjoy this movie, and that's why. So let's get back to me. So no matter which version, there are many, many, many different versions of Frankenstein. When it comes to the story of creation and ethics of science, you can look at even stuff like Jurassic Park, you could say, was inspired by Frankenstein. Hold on, my lighting's kind of off. There we go. And there's a few other movies too that I just kind of wanted to briefly mention. But if you look around, this movie is, well, the story of Frankenstein and his creature is all over the place when it comes to pop culture. And no wonder it's the timeless tale. So many different people have so many different ways they could relate to it, just like I've covered. But yeah, if you look at different things like Jurassic Park, that could be considered a Frankenstein story because the dinosaurs were created in the lab, and then Richard Hammond comes to regret his decisions, and everybody fears their life for these creatures. And then if you look at like Hotel Transylvania, that's another good one that touches on all the Universal monsters, but I like how they depict Frankenstein's creature in that. Then even Nightmare Before Christmas, you have Sally and Dr. Finkelstein. They're a big part of that movie. And even Van Helsing, that's not technically a Frankenstein story, but Frankenstein is a big part of that story. And I like how they use the creature in that one, and I like how the creature looks in that one. I put a picture in the collage for the thumbnail for this if you want to take a look at that. And of course, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I covered that on my channel. It's all about how he builds Rocky Horror and he makes him into the kind of man that he wants him to be. And there's even a song that mentions there's a light at the Frankenstein place. So that's what I mean. The story is everywhere. Everyone's got their own version of it. I was looking into it. There are hundreds of Frankenstein movies. And yes, I know there's the Hammer films with, Christopher Lee plays the creature and Peter Cullen, I want to say, plays Frankenstein, but I haven't seen those movies, and those haven't really had an impact on my life. So I'll mention them. I know they exist. I'm aware. I just haven't seen them. They're hard to get a hold of. So that's my list. In conclusion, this is what Frankenstein means to me. This is why it's made such an impact in my life. It's such a fascinating tale when it comes to either the ethics of science or when you're considering death itself, when you're considering ostracizing people for being outsiders. If you're an outsider, you can relate to the creature. If you're an outsider, you can relate to Frankenstein. If you like science, you can relate to Frankenstein. If you're more artistic or philosophical, you can relate to the creature. There's many different layers. And Elizabeth, she's a very important character to the story because she was sort of serves as like a love interest of Frankenstein in most of the adaptations, but not necessarily. Like there's different versions. So what are different ways that you can relate to Frankenstein? Oh, we have a comment here. Sabrina, I'm sorry, I just saw that. Lisa Frankenstein, I think, has to be my number one pick. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for commenting. So which one is your favorite Frankenstein story? And which one do you relate to more? And why do you relate to it? I talked about why I relate to it. I've always felt like an outsider. Which I haven't really talked about why I relate to it. I've always felt like an outsider in my life because I was a Canadian growing up in America. So no matter where I went in the States, I was always reminded, you're Canadian. And being bisexual too, it's also been hard to be comfortable in my own skin. So I've been grappling with that in my life. I've been grappling with being Canadian. I didn't move back to Canada until like 2005, 2006, something like that. So I've always had this outsider mentality. That's why I kind of relate to this story. So that's a little bit about me, and that's a little bit about Frankenstein. And that's my show for tonight. I hope you liked it. If you like what you see and you want to see more, leave comments below and we can talk about it. Until next time, I'll see you next week. I'll see you at the movies. Oh, wait, hold on. Go back. Have a great day.
Wait. Stop. Wait. Okay, start over. Take two.
Should we mention that December it's going to be about Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay. With the holidays, with the holiday themes. And that's a little
So, until next time. I'll see you at the movies. Have a great day.
And if they let the viewers know that
Did you know that I'm a film critic for HorrorBuzz.com?
for the kids.
You can read my reviews on their website. And I make frequent appearances on their YouTube channel, HorrorBuzz Live. So I'll leave links below for that too.
Live age. Cartoon.
Make sure you tune in next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to cover yet, but I'll come up with something for next week. But in December, I'm going to cover Christmas movies. And I'm going to do an episode all about animation and claymation. And it's going to be a kids episode. So get your families, get your kids. And let's talk about Christmas animation movies. That'll probably be the first week of December. But all December, I'm going to talk about all these different Christmas movies. So come join me, and we'll have some fun talking about Christmas movies. I will see you next week. It'll be a surprise. I'll decide something soon. Bye.